Ah, society, such a cunning architect, isn't it? It's been planning your life for decades, long before you even had a say in the matter. The blueprint was laid out before you took your first breath, and every step you've taken since has been carefully nudged, guided along a path that was never truly yours. They've been weaving this web, strand by strand, trapping you in a life that serves their interests, not yours. And the most insidious part? They've made you believe it was your choice all along. You see, if you don't create your own routine, your own structure, they'll happily assign one to you. They'll hand it to you with a smile, wrapped in the comforting illusion of normalcy. Go to school, get the grades, find a job, settle down. Each step another link in the chain that binds you to their design. And you'll accept it, won't you? Because that's what everyone does. You'll take the routine they offer, and you'll live it out like a good little puppet, never questioning whose hands are pulling the strings. But here's the dark truth. They don't want you to question it. They've built this system to be self-sustaining, feeding on the dreams and aspirations of those too afraid to break free. They've created a world where routine is synonymous with security, where deviation from the path is seen as madness, as rebellion. And so you fall in line day after day, week after week, until the years slip through your fingers like sand, and you're left wondering where it all went wrong. You think you're making choices, but every decision is a step deeper into the labyrinth they've constructed around you. They've been planning your every move, anticipating your desires, and manipulating them to fit their grand design. You're not living your life. You're living the life they've mapped out for you, the one that keeps the wheels of their machine turning smoothly. And all the while, you believe you're in control. It's a beautiful lie, isn't it? A lie they've perfected over centuries, refined through the subtle art of societal conditioning. But here's where it gets truly sinister. If you don't have the will to carve out your own routine, your own path, they'll carve it for you. They'll wrap you in the warm, suffocating embrace of the familiar, the predictable, until you're too comfortable, too complacent to break free. And before you know it, the life you're living isn't yours. It's theirs. You've become a cog in their machine, a mere player in a game you didn't even realize was being played. They want you to accept it, to embrace the routine they've assigned you. Because as long as you do, you're no threat. You're just another piece in their puzzle, another soul tethered to the grindstone of their design. They've been planning this for decades, crafting a world where the path of least resistance is the one that leads you straight into their grasp. And you, in your ignorance, in your fear of the unknown, walk willingly into their trap. But what if you didn't? What if you tore up their blueprint, shattered their carefully constructed routine, and forged your own path? What if you rejected the life they've assigned you, refused to play by their rules? It would terrify them, wouldn't it, Tony T.S.? Because once you step off the path, once you reject their routine, you become unpredictable, uncontrollable. You become a force of nature, driven by your own desires, your own dreams, not theirs. They've spent decades planning your life, counting on your compliance, your willingness to accept the status quo. But the moment you realize that routine is a cage, that the life they've planned for you is a prison, is the moment you begin to see the cracks in their facade, The world they've built is fragile, held together by the threads of conformity and fear. And once you break free, once you create your own routine, your own reality, their carefully constructed world begins to unravel. So ask yourself, will you accept the routine they've assigned you, the life they've planned for you? Or will you step into the darkness where the path is yours to create, where the routine is yours to design? Society has been planning your life for decades, but the power to destroy that plan, to break free from the chains they've wrapped around you, lies within you. It's a choice, a dark and dangerous choice, but one that leads to true freedom, to a life that is truly yours. They fear this choice, fear the day you realize that routine is not your savior, but your captor. Because once you do, you'll tear down the walls they built around you, and they'll have no power left over you. You'll see the world for what it is, a playground of your own making, where greatness awaits beneath the work you once avoided. And in that moment, the plan they've spent decades crafting will crumble to dust, leaving you standing in the ruins of their control, ready to build something far greater. Greatness. Such an elusive prize, isn't it? Everyone wants it, craves it, but few are willing to face the truth. That greatness doesn't come wrapped in ribbons, handed to you on a silver platter. No, it lies buried deep beneath the work you avoid, the toil you shun, the pain you refuse to endure. It's a cruel joke, really, because the very thing you desire most is hidden in the shadows of your own fear and laziness, mocking you as you tiptoe around it, pretending that it's not there. They won't tell you this, of course. Society, in all its comforting lies, will convince you that greatness is about talent, about luck, about being in the right place at the right time. But that's just the surface, the glittering facade they've created to distract you from the real work, the dirty, thankless grind that lies beneath. They don't want you to know that greatness is something you have to dig for, something you have to claw your way towards through the muck and the mire of your own resistance. You see, the work you avoid isn't just a chore, it's a gatekeeper, standing between you and the greatness you claim to seek. It's the dark, twisted path that no one wants to walk, because it's lined with thorns, with doubts, with the harsh reality that you're not as strong, as smart, as capable as you pretend to be. But that's where the magic happens, isn't it? In that confrontation, in that brutal self-assessment, where you strip away the illusions and face the raw truth of your own inadequacies. The work you avoid is your crucible, your test of worthiness. It's where you're forced to abandon the comforting lies you've told yourself, where you're pushed to the brink of your own limits and beyond. It's where you discover what you're really made of. Not the polished, sanitized version of yourself that you show to the world, but the gritty, relentless force that's buried deep within, waiting to be unleashed. But here's the dark twist. Most people will never face it. They'll dance around the edges, flirt with the idea of greatness, but they'll never dive into the abyss where it truly lies. They're too afraid, too comfortable in their mediocrity to take that plunge. They'd rather settle for a life of quiet desperation, convincing themselves that they're doing enough, that they're playing it safe. And in doing so, they condemn themselves to a life of unfulfilled potential, of dreams deferred and greatness unrealized. But you're different, aren't you? You felt the pull, the gnawing hunger for something more, something greater. You've caught glimpses of what lies beneath, of the power that waits for you in the depths of the work you've been avoiding. And it terrifies you, doesn't it? The knowledge that you're capable of so much more, but only if you're willing to do the work, to face the pain, to embrace the darkness. Greatness isn't for the faint of heart. It's not for those who shy away from discomfort, who cling to the familiar, the easy, the safe. It's for those who are willing to descend into the depths of their own fears, to wrestle with their demons, and emerge on the other side, bloodied but unbroken, transformed by the fire of their own determination. It's for those who understand that the work they avoid is the very key to unlocking the greatness they seek. And here's the ultimate irony. The more you avoid the work, the more it haunts you, gnawing at the edges of your consciousness, reminding you of what could be, of the life you're letting slip through your fingers. It's a constant, insidious whisper in the back of your mind, a reminder that you're not living up to your potential, that you're choosing comfort over greatness, mediocrity over mastery. But if you dare to face it, to embrace the work you've been avoiding, you'll find that it's not the enemy you thought it was. It's a gateway, a portal to a version of yourself that you've only dreamed of. It's the forge where greatness is crafted, where your true self is shaped and tempered by the heat of your own willpower. And when you emerge from that forge, you'll be unrecognizable, not just to the world, but to yourself. You'll have become the very thing you once feared, a force of nature, a vessel of greatness, unstoppable and undeniable. So the choice is yours. You can continue to avoid the work, to live a life of quiet desperation, always wondering what could have been. Or you can step into the darkness, face the work head on, and claim the greatness that's been waiting for you all along. It won't be easy, it won't be comfortable, but it will be worth it. Because greatness isn't handed to you, it's earned through blood, sweat, and tears, through the relentless pursuit of the work you once feared. And when you finally claim it, you'll realize that the darkness was never your enemy. It was your guide, leading you to the greatness that was always hiding beneath.